Welcome to Asia Talk, a segment of Asian newsmakers. We will discuss what impact election 2019 will have on the competitive attractiveness of Indian democracy around the world, especially South Asia. What clues they will provide about the durability of Modi government administration and its foreign policy. So we have Mr. Venkat Narayan to discuss all these issues with us. When Indian elections are approaching 2019, and how this is going to affect the geopolitics.
Well, Indian election, considering the fact that India is the world's largest democracy and nearly 800 million to 900 million voters will be there, that's more than the entire population of the United States and voting people in Europe. It is very important. And everybody looks up to the Indian election and wants to know what is happening, who is going to win and all that.
So what is the perception among the neighboring countries, especially among the South Asian countries, towards this new government which is going to be formed?
Well, in, let's say, countries like Pakistan, for some reason they seem to think that the BJP is not particularly friendly with Muslims. So in Pakistan, people are hoping that in the next election, if the BJP loses and a Congress-led coalition or a non-BJP coalition comes into office, it will be good for them. That's what they seem to think. And in Sri Lanka, Rajapaksa has been saying day before yesterday in Bengaluru that never mind who is in power, either in Colombo or New Delhi, relations between India and Sri Lanka should be good, and this relationship should be sustained on a long-term basis irrespective of who is running the country in Sri Lanka and India. I think that should be the case with as far as India's relations with all the neighborhood countries are concerned. It should not matter who is running the government on a given day. It should be basically relationship between the people of country A and India, people of country B and India. It should be like that. But for some reason or the other, because India is so big, it becomes an election issue in some countries. But fortunately, it was not an election issue in Pakistan in the recent elections that brought Imran Khan to power. In Sri Lanka, the presence of the IPKF during Rajiv Gandhi's time was a big issue, but fortunately India is no longer an issue in that country. In Bangladesh also India was not an issue in December elections. In Nepal, which depends mostly on India because it shares a border with us and they don't have access to the sea, India continues to play an important role in their domestic politics. So there was some tension because of misunderstanding or call it whatever, that the relationship was not very good. It looked as if Indians are backing a particular party or a candidate and some other party candidate came to power and then India tried to make amends by befriending that country. I think in my view, no Indian government should be seen to be partisan to any particular party or group in a neighboring country, because India is too big and it matters to everybody in the whole region.
But we see last 4 years have seen a lot of activity in terms of change in foreign policy vis-a-vis different nations like Pakistan, China, Afghanistan. Many things happening in Afghanistan, and also there were a lot of things happening in Sri Lanka also. India's stand, especially foreign policy, has taken some slight turn. In that way, how can we see individual countries? If we talk about Pakistan, there are many trade issues going on. So one by one, if we pick up the issue, like once we pick up Pakistan, so what is your take on the current relationship between India and Pakistan?
See, the thing about Pakistan is that Pakistanis are obsessed with Kashmir, and they are saying you settle Kashmir first, everything else will fall in place. We are saying, listen, we have a border issue with China, but we have put the issue on the back burner and our trade is improving. It is $80 billion or something. Pakistan is refusing land access to Afghanistan via Wagah. So as a result, we are having to go for Chabahar port, which we are funding, and we have started sending goods, wheat to Afghanistan, and hopefully very soon things will go to Central Asia from there and all that. But in an ideal kind of situation, Pakistan and India should be friends, they are neighbors. Instead of Pakistan buying tea from Kenya and sugar from Cuba or wherever, it will be cheaper for them to buy things from India.
But there are issues of, trade issues and most favored nation issues and the
That's
status. Pakistan, instead of choosing India, it is favoring other countries like China.
See, this is a mental block. You see, I was in Pakistan in November when the Kartarpur was opened. In the sense, the launch happened. Prime Minister Imran Khan was there. I attended the meeting. I had a separate meeting in Islamabad with other journalists. See, I think Imran seriously wants to make friends with India. But the Indian establishment seems to think that, he is a lackey of the Pakistan military. In my view, it is not like that. I have known Imran Khan for the last 30 years. I interviewed him several times. He's educated at Oxford, a well-to-do man. He would not be taking orders from the army. Even in the Supreme Court of Pakistan issued an opinion a few days ago saying that, hello army, stay off politics. And everybody appreciated that. I think India needs to change its view of Imran Khan and should start doing business with him. I do not agree that BJP is necessarily anti-Muslim. That's why they are adopting a particular policy. Because Modi went to Lahore to attend Nawaz Sharif's birthday on Christmas Day on his way back from Afghanistan, if you remember.
Yeah.
So we make serious attempts.
Between this government and the Pakistani government.
Trust is lacking. The Indians do not trust the Pakistanis. The Pakistanis do not trust the Indians. This is a legacy of the past partition. It was one of the bloodiest, bloodsheds and partition in human history. More than 1 million people were killed. 10 million people became homeless. So it is a very hard kind of thing. But Europe went through a lot of bloodshed too. But they have...
So you think that changing of the government will not change the situation?
No, I think a basic thing has to be that people in Pakistan and India should say hello. By working together, India and Pakistan gain more than being at war with each other. That's what Imran says. So I would like to believe that whoever comes to power after the election would take Imran at his word and try to mend fences and have a dialogue and take things forward. Right now they have a financial crunch. We have, funds which we can invest. We are giving billions of dollars to all our neighborhood countries in Africa and all that. I would like to see India extend $1 billion or $2 billion worth of assistance to Pakistan to meet that crisis. This may be thought unusual, revolutionary by average Indian, but that is how you make an attempt to win the confidence of people of Pakistan, which is very, very important. And we are the elder brother. All the others are younger to us. We should be magnanimous, we should be generous, we should not anticipate a bilateral equanimity in the sense if I do this, you do this for me. It shouldn't be like that. We should really act like an elder brother and help brothers who are in trouble and see it is going to have a dramatic effect on relations between India and Pakistan.
Okay, now if you move away to next very very important neighbor, Afghanistan. Lot many is happening, and India is expected to gain its ground and keeping its feet firmly in the current situation. How do you see that?
Well, the Americans and the Russians and the whole world seems to be promoting talks with the Taliban without involving the government of the president, which I think is a bit strange. I think the Americans are very tired. They wasted billions and billions of dollars on a war which they could never win. So they want to kind of somehow end it and go away. So the Taliban in Afghanistan enjoys the backing of Pakistan. Even President Trump is aware of that. But still, he seems to think that Pakistan will help America to kind of sort things out in Afghanistan so that the Americans can go back. But I don't think that is going to happen. If the Taliban comes back to power, I'm not so sure how helpful it is going to be for India, because after all, the last time Taliban was in power, we had to shut down our embassy in Kabul and our consulates, you see.
What should be India's stance in this situation?
You see, India has been having independent negotiations with the Chinese, with the Americans and with Japan about doing something for Afghanistan. Yes, training thousands of their soldiers and in India. The Americans want Indian boots on the Afghan soil, but that's not going to happen. Most important reason is that we burnt our fingers in Sri Lanka by sending our troops there. If we send our troops to Afghanistan, the Pakistanis won't like it, and it could cause unnecessary bloodshed. So that is understandable. But we have invested $3 billion in building their parliament and building, electricity and schools and things like that in Afghanistan. There is too much at stake for India. So we have to proceed very cautiously. What exactly is the Americans' game plan? You see, Pakistan would like India to disappear from Afghanistan, but that's not going to happen because Afghanistan's relationship with India is from the days of Kandari, Mahabharata and all that. You can't wish India...
The change of guard at the central government will not affect...
No, I don't see how a Rahul Gandhi or some other person in the Prime Minister's chair can dramatically change the situation in Afghanistan, because the Americans are very important players. The Russians who lost out, many years ago, they're trying to find their feet again there and all that. So it's a bit complicated. I don't think any particular personality as Prime Minister of India will be able to change much.
Okay, now as you said, role of Big Brother. So Nepal has always been taken care of by India and like a smaller, younger brother. After this situation, there was a change in this relationship. Big Brother was not playing its role well. But it is a very, very important thing. Now Nepal is shifting its interest from India towards China. How this thing is going to be after, if there is a change in the government from NDA to UP or any other government?
I think Nepal is an independent country. It has got two great countries as its neighbors, China and India. And if I were Nepalese, it should be none of any Indian's business to tell me who I should be friends with. There is no reason why Nepal should not be friendly with China. There is no reason why China should tell Nepal not to be friends with India. India-China-Nepal relationship has been historical. Sita comes from Janakpur and so on. So they speak the same language, the religion is the same and so on and so forth. So they're emotionally closer to India. But after the collapse of the monarchy in that country, and with political parties coming to play an important role, and we have communists in that country, so a lot of changes have taken place. But I do not see why India should worry if Nepal invites China to build a rail track connecting Tibet to Nepal. We are also trying to build a rail track connecting India with Nepal, going up to Raxol and all that. So it would be wonderful if you and I can board a train in Delhi and go to Beijing or Lhasa via Kathmandu and other places. Why not? I mean, people to people contacts are very, very important.
So you don't find it strange?
No, I don't find it strange at all. But my approach to life and human relationships or international relationships tend to be somewhat different, because I believe that the days of war, influence, suzerainty, they're all changed now. In this day and age, nobody can be kept under somebody else's thumb. Every country is free, and they should be allowed to have their own way of doing things. And we should not try to impose our will on any country. China tells us, okay, dump Pakistan or Sri Lanka. It doesn't work like that in global politics. So Indians, being the big brother or elder brother, should keep their mouth shut and let everybody do their own thing and make sure that your interests are not hurt. If they are hurt, then you get involved and do something about it.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Nayak, for giving so much of time and extensive view on South Asian politics. Thank you.